Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to unfold the events that take place in the 2001 American action drama film, The Last Castle. Warning, major spoilers ahead. The movie begins when Lieutenant General Eugene Irwin is brought to a maximum security military prison to begin a 10-year sentence. The sentence was awarded to Irwin, as he had decided to send the US troops on a mission to Burundi, going against the presidential order. His decision resulted in the deaths of 8 soldiers. Therefore, the much-decorated former prisoner of war at Hanoi and hero of the Gulf and Bosnian campaigns was now sentenced to prison. Colonel Ed Winter is the prison's commandant. He greatly admires Irwin and is portrayed as a sadistic sentimentalist who obsessively dotes on his prized collection of military memorabilia. When Irwin is brought to the prison, Winter watches him through the plate glass window of his office. He clearly admires Irwin, for he tells one of his underlings that they should have given Irwin a Medal of Honor to him, instead of sending him to prison for disobeying a direct command. However, Winter's admiration for Irwin is short-lived, as he accidentally overhears him telling the orderly that any person who has a collection like Winter has probably never set foot on the battlefield. Winter, offended that Irwin criticized his prized military artifacts collection, though he actually hadn't seen combat in his career, bitterly resents the crude remark. Winter's true character thus emerges. He is nothing but a sadist who hides behind the law to run a reign of terror. While Irwin simply wants to do his time at the prison and return home, he inevitably finds himself in a bitter conflict with Winter. He calls Winter a disgrace to the uniform and finds him leading a clandestine uprising at the prison. Winter frets that Irwin is building a structure of loyalty at the prison, since he perceives Irwin's attempts to change the prisoner's attitude as a threat to his position. His admiration for Irwin is fading fast, and Winter retaliates by opposing everything Irwin does. On one occasion, Irwin is reprimanded after he stops a guard from clubbing Corporal Ramon Aguilar, another prisoner. Ramon had saluted Irwin in the prison yard by mistake and as a result had violated a tenet of Winter's methods to run the prison. The tenet was that prisoners had to stop acting like soldiers since, according to Winter, they were no longer comrades. Meanwhile, Irwin continues to observe cruel acts at the prison and takes it upon himself to unify the prisoners. He urges the prisoners to build a castle wall at the facility together out of stone and mortar, which in many ways resembles the likes of a medieval castle. Envious of the immense respect that Irwin is receiving from the prisoners, Winter gives his guards the order to destroy the wall. Ramon, who is directly involved in the construction of the castle wall, blocks the bulldozer. Angered, Winter orders one of his sadistic sharpshooters, Corporal Zamoro, to fire a non-lethal rubber bullet via a coded hand gesture. The movie then takes a dark turn, for the normally non-lethal bullet, which was fired directly at Ramon's head, accidentally kills him. Winter's guards go ahead and destroy the wall. Once the wall is destroyed, Irwin and the other inmates pay their final respects to Ramon Aguilar in a proper military formation. Later, Winter offers some small concessions to Irwin as a way of apologizing, but the latter rejects the concessions, calling them flimsy. This is when Irwin calls Winter a disgrace to the uniform and demands his resignation as the prison's commandant. Bittered by Ramon's death at the hands of Winter, the prisoners begin to defy his rules and start to behave like soldiers around Irwin by using code words and hand gestures. Infuriated by their blatant disobeyal of rules, Winter reaches out to Yates, another prisoner. Yates is a former officer, Apache helicopter pilot, and an antisocial prisoner who is convicted of running a secret drug smuggling ring and is currently serving his sentence at the prison. Winter bribes Yates and tells him to keep him informed about Irwin's plans in return for a reduced sentence. Soon, Yates informs Winter that Irwin was planning to take over the prison and then raises the country's flag in an upside-down position, which was a signal for distress. Meanwhile, Irwin follows through with a plan where he intends to throw the prison into complete chaos. The purpose of this mission was to show his friend, Brigadier General Wheeler, who is incidentally Winter's superior officer, that is an unfit leader and should be removed from office, citing the rules of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. During a visit to the prison, Winter receives an anonymous letter. The letter demands him to hand over his resignation, failing which, Wheeler would be kidnapped by the prisoners. Winter immediately orders his men to take the necessary action, but soon realizes that the whole scheme was simply a bluff, to waste his time and distract him. Irwin leverages this incident to gain knowledge of how the guards would react during an actual uprising, and uses this information to his benefit. Though Wheeler clearly states he doesn't approve of Winter's methods, he admits that he respects Winter's argument that he did not know what it was like to run a military prison. So he instead offers to transfer his friend Irwin to another prison if Winter would request it, but Winter declines the offer. One day, Yates discreetly goes into the warden's office to steal a US flag during one of Winter's visits, and reveals he is actually on Irwin's side. In a frenzy, Winter orders all the prisons to remain in the yard, thinking that this would prevent their plot. However, this is where the twist comes into the movie. It was part of Irwin's plan to get Winter to order all of them into the yard. A riot then commences amongst everyone in the prison. Seizing the opportunity to take revenge for one of their own, Ramon, the prisons unleash all their fury. They use improvised weapons to capture an armored vehicle and also the prison helicopter. Yates, a trained pilot, uses the helicopter to kill Zamora. The prisoners place a call to Wheeler's headquarters to inform him of the riot at the prison. Winter, however, doesn't have the liberty of time, for soon Wheeler would arrive and witness the mess at the prison when he was supposed to be in charge. To save his dignity, he orders the guards to fire live ammunition against all rioting prisoners. Winter recalls that Yates had told him that Irwin's ultimate goal was to raise the flag of the United States of America in an upside-down position to signal distress. Though Irwin's men, the other inmates, do their best to create havoc in the prison, they are ultimately outnumbered by the guards, who are all armed with live ammunition. Winter orders all the men to surrender by lying down, but they vehemently refuse to do so. Winter orders them to obey yet again, warning them if they refuse to do so this time, the sharpshooters positioned above them would fire at them. No one answers Winter, and the prison is shrouded in uncomfortable silence. Before Winter can give the order, Irwin orders his fellow inmates to lie down so that their lives aren't lost in vain. Winter then orders Irwin to return the flag to him, to which Irwin replies, "It is not your flag." He then turns and begins to walk towards the flagpole to continue with his final mission, to raise it upside down. A visibly unsettled and infuriated Winter reprimands him and urges him not to raise the flag upside down. But Irwin pays no heed to Winter's words and continues walking, despite Winter's repeated cries to cease and desist. Overcome by blind rage that Irwin is ignoring him, Winter orders his shooters to fire at Irwin. However, the shooters too seem to be in Irwin's side now, for they refuse to follow Winter's orders and kill such a revered man of the uniform. Winter goes on yelling at them to fire at Irwin in a desperate attempt to stop him from raising the flag. Still, all of his men, including his close comrade, Captain Peretz, disobey his orders and refuse to kill Irwin. This is when Winter takes matters into his own hands and fatally shoots Irwin right in the back, just as he starts to lift the flag. The movie progresses into a slow melancholy, where an injured Irwin continues to raise the flag even as the ebbs out from under him. Captain Peretz arrests Winter for shooting at Irwin for no good reason. The prisoners stand up once again and start saluting the flag, as Irwin slowly raises it. Winter looks up, and much of his regret notices that Irwin has actually raised the flag in the correct manner. This means that Yates had lied to him, and he had shot Irwin fruitlessly. As General Wheeler finally arrives at the prison, the flag flies high above the prison's wall. Colonel Winter is then led away in handcuffs. In the aftermath of the tragic turn of events, the inmates build a new wall to serve as a memorial to their fallen comrades. Ramon Aguilar and Eugene Irwin's names are some among those carved onto the castle's walls, and the movie draws to a close.